Okay, congratulations, you survived the last video, so let's go ahead and keep going. If you're feeling that you want to change what it looks like and so forth, because some of us like to make them appealing, I can click this little art palette here, and what happens is there's a couple of options for me. I can choose an image. They have a gallery here based on different themes that I could choose an image if I wanted to make it at the top. So for example, jelly beans, let's just say. I want to insert that. It'll give me a nice little header, so it's colorful, and it'll change the background. I can choose a different background color if I wish, the theme color if I wanted to make it blue. So it gives you all those types of things. I can change the font if I want as well. I'm a basic kind of girl because I think it's just easier to read, and I can leave it there. I am not proficient in the add-ons because a lot of these have to deal with when you export the data into Sheets. And I'm not really much of a Sheets girl as I was an Excel girl, but I've moved away from that. So I don't even really use it, but I'm absolutely going to show you what you can do. So now I go to my settings. This is really the checkpoint you need before you're ready to send it to the children. How are you going to know which child took the quiz and which answer is theirs? You must collect their emails, because the only way you would know is if you add a field in here, if you add like a text box where you would just type in name and first name and last name if you want that. If you are giving it for the first time, I often limit it to one response because I don't want them to be able to take it again unless I authorize them to retake a quiz if they earned a retake or not. I don't want them to be able to undo it, to unsubmit it, and then edit it again. So I do not check that. Because we had that one question that we inserted where we allowed them to upload something, that's why this question is here. But if you don't allow them to upload something, this would not be here. Presentation. How do you want them to be able to see this? You can show them a progress bar, a percentage. The line would move along as to how far they are finished with the quiz. Shuffle question order. So not only could you shuffle the order of the answers, from this master settings, you can shuffle the question order. So again, that's another built-in safety feature to prevent cheating, if you will. Here's the part where it's talking about counting it as a quiz. Pardon me, I was coughing. This will be toggled when you chose to make a basic quiz. So this has to be here for it to count, to have those point values on every question. If you did locked mode last year, locked mode is when the children take it, it blocks out all of their tabs that are open at the top. It will only, and the quiz, the Google form will encompass the entire screen. You will get a notification if a child closes the quiz and has to reopen it. Has it happened? Of course. Maybe the Wi-Fi was slow and the quiz wasn't loading, but it didn't happen all that often. But if you turned on locked mode, that's a good feature. But again, it really only works for the children in the class. If you assessed any of the remote kids or virtual kids that were at home, you couldn't have locked mode on because sometimes they weren't even on their Chromebook. And if you turned on locked mode, yes, they could take the quiz, but then they couldn't hear you in the Meet if you were trying to monitor them through a Google Meet while they were taking a quiz. So then GoGuardian was absolutely necessary. Here you have a choice. If you've already predetermined what the answers are and there's nothing that you have to grade manually, then If you want the kids to know right away their grade, you can immediately release their grade after they submit it. Like when we did the preview and I was able to view my score. If not, if that's something you want to control and you want to release it to them, then you would simply click later after manual review. What can the kids see? You want them to see missed questions because you want to give them the opportunity to not turn in an incomplete quiz. I personally unclick the correct answers if I'm giving something to them that I want them to kind of work towards to try to figure out and understand why. But it's not saying that they can't see the correct answer. And point values. I think the point values are important. So once you've set all of these parameters for your quiz, you're ready to give it to them. Perfect. How do I give it to them? I click the send button. So, like yesterday, when we went to Google Classroom and you wanted to create a quiz assignment, you would simply, through Google Classroom, in that assignment post, look for the title of your quiz and you would attach it that way. Some of us, maybe we don't work like that. So what happens is you can send it to people via email. I don't suggest that. I would give them a link. You can attach a link to an assignment and you can send it out that way. Well, that seems like a really long address. Is there any way to shorten it? Of course there is. So if you shorten it, you can copy this link. So all you would do is press copy and then you would paste it wherever you need to. Okay. So let's say I made the quiz. I told everyone in my department or I told everyone on my grade level, hey, I'll make the quiz for this topic and so forth, and I'll send it to you. Well, if you send them what you just copied, they would be taking it as a student. They wouldn't be able to make their own copy and edit it as they see fit or be able to give it to their students. So what would happen is you would want to share it with your colleagues. Well, how do I do that? I don't see share here. In Google Forms, to share it with a colleague, it would be add collaborators. So what you would hope for here is when this loads, is you would add the email addresses of your colleagues, right? And then it would send it to them. What they should do, because if I keep them as an editor, it means all hands on deck on this one Google form. So what you would encourage your colleagues to do is to make a copy. How do they do that? When they open mine, they would make a copy. Pre-filled link. This is kind of like the same thing going the long way. And preferences, again, if you sit here and look through these, you can change it to however you want. Oh, this is good. It defaults to collecting emails. That's a really good one. And make questions required. Every time you make a quiz, all the questions should be required. So you can save that as well.